strictly teach the online portions of Megan's um, business, but today she's away, so I'm going to take over for her, and I will be probably taking over for her for a little bit. So, a little bit about me. I'm also an active outdoorsy human living in Victoria on Coast Salish lands, and I also use a wheelchair after a spinal cord injury 9 years ago. But I love hanging out in this space because I get to work out with people from all over. So, welcome to those who haven't been here before. To get started, we're going to be using very limited equipment today. We're going to use a dowel, so whatever you have for a dowel or a stick, whatever you can find. You can use some light weights if you want a little extra sweat, so feel free to grab that if you would like. Otherwise, I'm not going to use any light weights just to make it easy. A reminder too, if you have your cameras on, you will be muted. I won't be doing any individual correction during the class, but for the sake of flow, but feel free after class if you have questions about things, let me know. And today we're going to be working on some cardio, a little bit of isometric folds. So because of that, I do encourage you to add music in the background on your end to get the energy going. I obviously won't be having music because of copyright issues, but feel free to not really listen to me and just follow along and get some tunes going. But other than that, if you have questions, be sure to put them in the chat throughout and we'll monitor them from our side. But to get started, we're going to just work on some breathing. So I encourage everyone to just get into a comfortable position. I welcome also for you to close your eyes if that feels good. And all I want us to do is thinking about sitting up nice and tall. And we're just going to focus on breathing in for 4 and then exhaling for 4. So we're just going to breathe in here and exhale.
What is that? Oh, yes.
Good. And inhale. And exhale. Good. A couple more breaths here. Inhale. And exhale. Good. One more inhale. And exhale. Good. Okay, next one we're going to do is a little bit of trap release. So we're just going to find some possibly tender points up in the traps. Once we find that spot, we're going to have that arm that you are using or pushing into. We're going to just let it dangle. And when we're going to push into that spot, we're going to tilt our head to the opposite direction. Good. And then we'll come back up. Either finding a new spot or staying on that spot and then pulling away. Good. Do a couple more here. Just nice and gently tipping. And one last time on this side. We'll switch sides. And also know that if it's too tender, just tipping the head to the opposite side also works. Good. And again. Good. And last one. Good. Okay, then we're going to just focus on some neck movements. So we're just going to look left and right to start. Making sure your shoulders are down away from those ears. And then we're going to come back to center and start looking up. And tucking that chin in and looking down. We're going to go back up one more time. And down. Good. Okay, we're going to move into the shoulders. So first one we're going to do, we're going to have our elbows to our sides, palms are facing each other. We're going to rotate our arms up to shoulder height, and then we're going to rotate those palms towards me. And then we're going to go all the way up to the ceiling, reaching as high as we can. and coming down. If going overhead is painful, just avoid that movement. And then we're going to rotate back down. Good. So elbows up to shoulder height, rotating those elbows so palms are facing me, and then going all the way up to the ceiling. Squeezing those shoulder blades down as we come back down to center. Good. We're going to do one more here. Rotating back down. Good. Okay, next one we're going to do, we're going to have our arm out in front of us. Notice elbows at shoulder height, and we're just going to rotate at the elbow, keeping everything at 90 degrees here. Good. And then we're going to switch sides. So again, nice and straight out in front of us, 90 degrees at shoulder height. Good. Couple more here. Good. Now we're just going to go into some shoulder rolls. So drawing nice big circles, going in one direction. And we're going to switch directions and go forwards. And then from here, if it feels good, we're going to take our right arm and go overhead, reaching as far as we can. If going overhead is too much, even just reaching or just bending to one side works too. And then we're going to come down and switch to the other side. Good. And back to the other side. And switching back to the side. Good. And from here, we're going to take our left arm and tap our right shoulder, looking over that shoulder. And then switching to the other side. So right arm, the left shoulder. Feeling as much stretch as feels good here, or we switch to the other side. Making sure we're breathing here, taking an inhale and exhaling, coming to center. Okay, last little warm up. We're going to tuck that chin in and roll down through the spine. Now you can stop with hands on a lap. You can start slowly walking your hands down towards your feet or towards the ground. And wherever you get to, we're going to stay here. We're going to take a couple breaths, and I really want everyone to focus on expanding all of the ribs. So the ribs kind of enclose around us from the front and back. We're just going to inhale, trying to expand everything at once. Exhale, directing that breath down towards the floor. One more big inhale. And on our exhale, we're going to slowly come up, lifting that chest, looking up at the ceiling. Arms can come back or even behind us as we lift everything here. Taking one more big inhale as we exhale and come back to center. Good. Okay, we're going to go into a little bit of movement before we start some dowel work. So we're just going to start with some overhead, just doing some nice reaches overhead. If that feels good. If not, you can also just come up to shoulder height. Just gonna get the arms overhead as best as you can so we can get the heart rate going a bit. Good. And then we're gonna go out to the sides and just do arm circles here. So you can start nice and small and then get nice and big. Good. And then we're gonna switch directions. Starting small and then getting nice and big. Good. Then we're gonna do half jumping jacks here. So just starting one arm and then the other. Getting a little bit of that side bend in if that feels good. Nice. And then we're going to switch into just reaching out in front of us and then pulling back. Reaching out in front and pulling back. Good. Okay. And from here, we'll just shake it all out. And we're going to grab our dowels. So grab whatever you're using, whether stick, umbrella, cane, mop stick like I have. And what we're going to do is essentially a pyramid. And what that's going to look like is we're going to do different intensities throughout this 5 minutes. So you have two options, or you can do both of them if that feels good to you. You can either just do a kayaking motion for these 5 minutes, or you can switch it up and go out and up, or you can kind of do a little bit of both. So doing the first one, if that feels good here, and going out and up if you want a little more intensity as you go overhead. So decide which one you want to start with, but we're just going to start off here first with 1 minute of just nice and light. So I'll transition you as we start to speed up. So kind of just go at a nice light paddle, imagining we're paddling on a river, or going out and up nice and slow, whatever feels good. Now, obviously, if you're going overhead, you're probably going to feel your heart rate raise quite fast, quite quickly, and that's okay. But if you do want a more of a tense workout, that is definitely a recommendation. Good, we got 30 seconds here, just starting to get warmed up and feeling that motion. If there's any of our paddlers on here thinking about, if there is a little bit of resistance, what that might feel like in through the water with that paddle hitting the water. Good. Okay, and then we're going to start speeding up. So we have 3 more transitions after this. So we're just thinking about what does a little faster mean? If you're going overhead, being cautious of, that dowel work, we're thinking about squeezing those shoulder blades as we come down and as we come back in. So going a little more intense here. We got about 5 more seconds, and then we're going to speed it up again. Good, and speeding up a little more. Now, again, for those who are thinking about water resistance, that speeding up might just be more resistance. You might have a little more emphasis in that paddle. Nice. Okay, we got 10 seconds here. We're going to speed it up even more. Good, and we're speeding it up a little more here, whatever that means for you. And then after this, we're going to go out in an all-out intensity, so as fast as you can. So be ready for that. Nice. Okay. Okay, so we're going to go all out for 1 minute. Now, that's going to mean different things for different people, but we are going to start now. So as fast as you can control for 1 minute. So whether that's kayaking, whether that's moving our arms if we don't have a dowel, or just going out and up. Good, and we have 30 seconds left. So we're pacing yourself here, remembering to breathe. Maybe we have a little bit of resistance in that paddle. Thinking about what that might mean. We have 15 seconds here, and then we're gonna lightly paddle it out. Good, finishing nice and strong, nice and controlled, making sure we check in on our posture, shoulders are away from our ears. Good, and switching to nice and light. We're gonna paddle it out for 1 minute, and then we're gonna do some holds before we go into some more cardio. Good. Good work, everyone. Our first pyramid here. Maybe noticing the breath now. You might start puffing and puffing. You might feel that heart rate starting to rise. Good. We got 20 seconds here. Slowing down even more now. Hopefully feeling that heart rate come down. Good. We have 10 seconds. All right. And rest. All right. Grab some water if you need. If you're using or if you choose to use light weights, grab those now. You can also do this with a dowel or with nothing at all. But what we're going to do is a 1-minute hold. And so we're going to have both hands out in front of us. And instead of going out to the sides or out straight in front, we're kind of going to go in the middle of that. And we're going to create a V. And we're thinking about thumbs up to the ceiling, like we're doing a thumbs up. Palms are going to be open. And we're going to stay here and hold. Now, you can also add in weight, or you can also use the dowel and hold the dowel as such. Whatever feels good to you, but I do want everyone to focus on shoulders down, shoulder blades tucked, and we're just going to hold this position. So when everyone is ready, we are going to do this for 1 whole minute. All right, so arms are up, holding right here, staying nice and relaxed. Notice shoulders are away from the ears. Good. And if it helps thinking about trying to move your neck, the neck wants to stay nice and loose here, so we don't want to be all nice and clenched up in the shoulders. Staying nice and strong. Nice and steady. Squeezing those shoulder blades together and down. Maybe bracing that core, sitting up nice and tall, putting the weight in our feet or thinking about the weight in our feet. Good, and we're going to rest there. Okay, next one we're going to do is another isometric fold. So you can do this a couple of different ways again. So if your dowel is quite small, or you can make it small, you can also kind of have fingers in between here, or just holding on the end. So you can either have the dowel and you're going to push into that dowel, trying to snap the dowel or bringing it together. So that's one option. Another is you can just bring your hands together as such and push into those palms. Or if you have like a weight, if you're using a weight or anything, you can also push into that. I'm just going to use my hands for simplicity. So what we're going to do is we're going to sit up nice and tall, grasping our hands together or the object in front of our chest, and we're firmly going to press them together, making sure we breathe. We're thinking about also maybe flexing all of the muscles all the way through to our hands. We're holding this for 10 seconds and then we'll relax, and we're going to repeat that and relax. Good. Pressing again. Good, and relax. So we also want to start feeling it in the chest all the way down through the shoulders. So we're thinking about flexing everything that we can. And relax. Good, couple more here. Going into this isometric hand press. Good. And the stronger we hold, relax, the more shaky we might start getting. Coming back and pushing. Really thinking about sitting up nice and tall, trying to think about engaging all of the muscles in our upper body. And relax. Good. Last one. Pushing into our hands, into the object, into the dowel. And relax. Good. Okay, next one we're going to do is an overhead isometric press. So again, a couple different ways we can do this. We can have the dowel, and we have the dowel. You can think about pulling this dowel apart. If we just have our hands, we're gonna have fists. You can't really see them because it's out of the screen, but you can have fists. Thinking about pulling something, a towel, a dowel, whatever that might be. Or if you have those weights, just holding them here and thinking about trying to push that weight into the ceiling. Okay, so different options there for whatever feels good. If going overhead isn't an option, coming out front is also a good option. So we're gonna go overhead and we're gonna hold this for a minute. Again, you're either thinking about pulling the dowel apart or going up into the ceiling. We're contracting everything on the upper body, really feeling it in the shoulder blades. Good. And if you do put enough force into it, you might start noticing those muscles start to shake. Really trying to break that dowel apart or push it up to the ceiling. Good, and remembering to breathe here, sitting up nice and tall. 20 more seconds here. And we're gonna release. Good. Okay, so we can set that dowel down, grab some water if you need. We're gonna go into our next little pyramid of cardio. And if you do have questions, just throw it into the chat. Okay, so next one we're gonna do is a little bit of boxing. If you wanna add light weights to this, by all means add that. Otherwise, I'm just gonna do it with my hands. So first one we're gonna do is just 1 minute, nice and light, jabs out in front. So we're just gonna get started here. So we're just going out in front, bringing the hands back to the chin each time. Nice and controlled here. Notice my shoulders are down away from those ears. We're sitting up nice and tall. And we're gonna start adding a little bit of combos in here. Good. Okay, we got 30 seconds. Remember, hands back to the face every time. Maybe adding a little more force into it as we start to think about our next interval. We're going to speed up. Good. And really noticing, where is that breath? Are we holding our breath? Are we breathing nice and controlled here with those punches? Good. Okay, we're going to start speeding up. So next we're going to do is a jab, jab, left hook, right hook. Okay, jab, jab, left hook, right hook. So coming back to the chin every time we do our jab, jab, left hook, right hook. Good. Making sure those hooks, we get force coming in on each time. First one sets us up for the next one. So really get into that. Good. We got 30 seconds and then we're going to switch patterns. Come back to that chin. Nice. Pacing yourselves here. Good work. And last 5 seconds. Good. Okay, next one we're doing is just a jab and then straight cross. So jab out in front, straight across. So jab, cross. Again, we're speeding up here. So finding a good pace. We are doing this for a minute. So finding that pace that you can control. Coming back to that chin. Good. And breathing here. Nice. Okay, we got 30 seconds. Nice and controlled. Coming back to that chin each time we reset. 15 seconds. Good. And what we're gonna do is this next minute, we're gonna go at our all-out intensity with the speed bag. So we're rotating the fists out in front of us, circling like you're punching a speed bag. This is our all-out 1 minute, so finding a speed that feels good but is fast. Noticing you're going to start using more core if you go higher or away from us. So if you want that challenge, feel free to do so. You can switch directions if that feels good. We got 30 seconds here. Nice. Okay, and remembering to breathe. We have 15 seconds, and then we're gonna lightly punch it out. 10 seconds here. Good work. Finishing nice and strong these last 5 seconds. And we're going into light. So this last minute, you can kind of choose what you want, whether that's some jabs, some hooks, maybe some uppercuts, just kind of moving here, slowing it down. Good. Keeping those shoulders down, nice and controlled. Good. Okay, we've got 30 seconds here, and then we'll grab some water. Notice, hopefully that heart rate's coming down. We're recovering here. Good. And we got 10 seconds, nice and controlled. Good, and rest. Okay, let's grab some water. We're gonna do a little more hold type exercises. Okay. So next one we're gonna do is a W hold. So the W hold is bringing our arms up. Elbows are gonna be bent at 90 degrees at shoulder height. And we're gonna face, palms are facing me. And we're gonna hold, you can also add light weights if you want. Otherwise, we're just holding our hands nice and open here. And we're gonna hold that for 1 minute. So thinking about squeezing those shoulder blades down. Good, finding nice steady posture here, sitting up nice and tall. Nice. Okay, we got 30 seconds left here, making sure our neck is nice and loose. Nice work. We have 5 seconds. Sitting this one out and release. Good. Okay, next one we're gonna do is just palms out in front, palms are facing the ground, sitting up nice and tall. And when we do this, I want you to think about, if you don't have anything in your hands, squeezing your fists, squeezing your arms all the way up, chest, squeezing those shoulder blades back as if we're gonna pull something, and we're gonna hold here for 1 minute. Good. Again, notice space between our shoulders and our ears. We don't want to be up here, we want to come down here. And the more you squeeze and think about contracting those muscles, the more you'll get out of it. Good, we're halfway there. Making sure we're engaging that core, bringing that belly button in towards the spine. Nice. Awesome job. We got 5 seconds. Finishing nice and strong here. And relax. Good. Okay, we're going to grab our dowels again, and we're going to do one more cardio set. Taking a minute. If you need some water, grab some water. Okay, so again, we're going to go into nice and light. We're going to do different movements each minute. So to start, we're just going to do a rotation to press. So we're going to have the dowel, and we're going to rotate to the left, press out with our right arm or the outside arm here. Coming back to center, rotate, and press again. Okay, I'm just going to go nice and light here. Now notice, for me, there's probably not going to be a lot of rotation here. For some, then we're going to have way more rotation, and that's good as long as it stays nice and controlled here. Good. So nice and light to start us off. And we are breathing here. And if it feels good, we'll start speeding that up a little bit. We're going to start going into the next one, into an overhead press. So switching into overhead press. So shoulders are staying down, squeezing those shoulder blades as we come back down, bringing that dowel to our chest. Good. Thinking about sliding up the wall, down the wall. And if you're following my pace, we've kind of sped up a little more here. Good. And then we're going to switch to up and over. So we're going to start on the left, go up and over to the right. And overhead down to the other side. Good. Again, if overhead isn't an option, staying down here is totally fine too. Good. And then we're going to switch into just out in front of us. Again, speeding this up a little more. Squeezing those shoulder blades. Good. Remembering to breathe here. And then we're going to go into some paddling, and we're going to start paddling on the right side. So we're switching paddling, thinking about bottom hands going down into the water and pulling. Left arm's kind of just there. Good. And we're just paddling on the right here. Breathing nice and controlled. We got 10 seconds, and then we're going to switch to the other side. Awesome. And switching to the other side. So now left arm is going into the water and pulling. Right arm's kind of just there to guide us through the water. Good, and then if that movement feels good, we can start speeding that up. Good. Okay, so in 5 seconds, we're going to switch to some kayaking. And we're going to do this for 20 seconds. And then for 1 minute, we're going to do 1 minute of freestyle. So it can be whatever movement you want at a pace that feels fast to you. That gets that heart rate up. So if you want your heart rate up going up higher, definitely find something overhead. Otherwise, do it feels good. So we're switching. You can kind of do whatever. You can switch up the movement every time or stick to one. So find what feels good. Good. Going overhead, if that feels good. Okay, we're halfway. We have 30 seconds left. Again, just moving how it feels good, finding a pace that's fast but manageable. Good. We have 15 seconds. Breathing, sitting up nice and tall, finishing these last 5 seconds, nice and strong. And rest. Good. Okay, take a moment, grab some water if you need. And then we're going to do another hold here and do a little bit of core work before we stretch. So palms are going to be facing each other again. Thumbs are up to the ceiling. If you like, you can have the dowel here, and we're just going to hold this for 1 minute out in front of us. Engaging that core, nice and relaxed. Staying nice and strong. Sitting up tall. Good. Noticing our breath, hopefully coming down. Our breathing rate coming down. Good. Taking some big inhales here, exhaling down through the spine. Nice. We have 20 seconds here. Finishing this hold nice and strong. And we're going to relax there. Good. Okay, so we're going to move into a couple core exercises, mostly isometric. So the first one, what we're going to do is you can add the weights here if you would like. For me, I would just tick over so I don't bother with the weight. But what we're going to do is have both arms out in front of us. If you have a weight, you're going to have the weight that's out front because the other arm is going to go up overhead. Okay, so one arm is out front, one arm is going overhead, and we're going to hold it here. So if you do have that weight, it's in the left hand and it's just staying out in front of us. And we're staying nice and controlled, engaging that belly button in towards the spine, sitting up nice and tall. Good. We've got a couple more here. Good, and we're going to relax there. Okay, so if you have a weight, we're going to switch it to the right side now. It's going to go straight out in front of us. Left arm's going to be out in front, and then we're going to go overhead. Good. Making sure those shoulders are down. Good. And last one. And rest. Good. Okay, so the next one you can't really, I don't think you can really see. But what we're gonna do, I'll try and emphasize it. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna think about bringing, now for me, that's not gonna really be much because I don't got a lot of core, but we're gonna think about bringing the belly button in towards the spine. We're gonna hold that for 5 seconds and then we're gonna release. So it's thinking about bringing in, I think you can see a little bit, bringing in the stomach in towards the spine, holding for 5 seconds, and release. Now you can add this with the breath, holding, coming in, and exhale. Holding in for 5, and exhale. And release. Good, a couple more here. Lots of concentration going on here. Trying to bring belly button towards the spine and relax. Again. And relax. Good. Couple more here. And release. Last one. Good. And relax. Good. Okay, we're gonna do one last core exercise. And if you have weight, you can definitely use it. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna have both arms out in front of us again. And the right arm is gonna pretend like we are doing some bow and arrow. We're gonna hold here. So notice when we pull back, we're watching that hand. This arm is staying out in front of us, nice and steady. We're gonna hold here, feeling that rotation, and then coming back to center. Okay, so both arms out in front. Left arm now is gonna pull back. We're looking to that hand, noticing the rotation here, and then coming back. Good. So if you do have the weight will be with the hand that is out front. And release, coming to center. Good. Pulling back. Seeing how far you can rotate and coming back to center. Good. We're going to do a couple more on each side. And back to center. Good. Last one on each side. And one more. Good. And relax. Okay. Grab some water if you need. Take out those shoulders a bit. Doing lots of isometric today. Lots of cardio. And if it feels good, we can grab the dowels again to do a little bit of a stretch. So what we're going to do is we're going to get that dowel overhead, or you can come here, and we're thinking about just pulling that dowel apart and getting it as far behind as you want. You can also just be out here pulling the dowel apart if that feels good. Finding what feels good. We're just stretching out those shoulders here. If we are overhead, seeing how far back we can get. And then we're going to relax there. Good. Okay, next one we're going to do is a spinal twist. So we're just going to look over the shoulder. So taking our left hand to our right knee, helping us rotate to the right, using that back hand on the chair or on your wheel or whatever you have that you're sitting on. And we're going to look over that shoulder, the right shoulder, and get a lot of twisting here. Remembering we want to breathe up through the spine, opening and lifting that chest, and exhaling down towards the tailbone. One more big inhale here. Exhaling, switching to the other side. So using our right hand to our left knee, that back hand helping us get a little extra rotation as we look over to the left shoulder. As we inhale, lifting that chest, expanding as much as we can here. And exhaling, coming back to center. We're going to tuck that chin in now. We're going to try and get the nose to our right armpit. Having the left side, our left arm is going to dangle either beside us or the arm is going to go behind us. So find what feels good there, but we're getting that nose to the armpit. If you want to use your right hand to pull that head down even more, go ahead. Otherwise, we're just sitting here Trying to get that nose as far down as we can. Good. Breathing through any tightness here. Seeing if we can get a little further now. Taking one more big inhale through the tension. Exhaling, bringing our head back up. Next one, we're gonna relax the right arm, tucking that chin in, and then getting that nose to the left armpit. That right arm can dangle or can go behind us again, using that left hand to bring the head closer down to the armpit. If that feels good, remembering to breathe through that tension. And now see if we can get that neck a little closer to that armpit. Taking one more big breath here. As we exhale, coming back to center. Next one we're gonna do, there's a couple variations. So first one we can start with is you can place your hands on the desk or whatever is in front of you and start sliding back, getting those hips as far back as you can as we place the head between our arms and feeling the stretch here. If that's not accessible to you, you can also go up against a wall and reach overhead and press into that wall. And then switch sides, or you can also just do this without just reaching over as such, trying to feel the stretch in our lats. So a couple different options there. I'm gonna place the hands on the desk and shoot those hips back, placing that weight in the hand, whether you're against the wall or in the air or against the desk. Trying to feel that stretch in the back, along the sides. Taking some big inhales here, expanding the entire rib cage through the front and all the way through the back. Exhaling down towards the tailbone, towards the ground. One more big inhale as we exhale and come back up to center. And now I invite everyone to, if it feels good, to close their eyes. We're going to just finish off with one more minute of breathing. So finding what feels comfortable, if it's bringing a hand on the stomach, in the chest, that feels good to you. But I want us to just think about some big inhales. So expanding and feeling like our body has hopefully rejuvenated here. And exhaling, bringing the shoulders down, bringing the weight into your seat, the floor, whatever that might be. Finding your breath here again, noticing how it's feeling now that we've done some exercise. Feeling hopefully the lightness as we relax our body after all of those holds. Couple more breaths here, really expanding all of the ribs, all the way up through the spine. And then exhaling all that weight down into the ground. Taking one more breath here as we exhale and open up our eyes. Okay. So I just wanted to take a moment to thank everyone for joining today. I hope everyone feels a little better. I know I do, and the sun is shining here in Victoria, so I might go enjoy that now too. So if you have a moment, please write in the chat how everyone is feeling. If you have questions, be sure to stick around and I can definitely answer them. Especially if you have questions about form. I know we did a little bit of new stuff with isometrics, so feel free to do that. Otherwise, thank you everyone, and I hope everyone has a good rest of the day, and I will see you